If you checked your email recently, you might have received an application form for the National Honor Society. The National Honor Society is an organization known worldwide for its commitment to 4 values: scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Any student with a 3.30 GPA in 10th grade or higher is eligible.
A current member of NHS, Juliana Damian, tells us how she feels about this organization and how it's helped her since joining her sophomore year.
I've learned more about service and giving back to the community, and since it's all about scholarship, I've learned how to maintain my grades and keep up the good work.
The sponsor of NHS, Mr. Paisel, informs us about what other opportunities it has to offer.
Generally, if you're accepted to NHS, we hope you keep upholding the things that earned you, admission in the first place, which is, again, good grades, that you are taking leadership roles, and that you show character. And we always define character as what do students do when they think that nobody is watching them.
The NHS also does things called the service projects, which basically is something where they get all together as a group and they do something to help their community.
Just a couple weeks ago, NHS ran a book drive, children's book drive. We collected about 125 children's books, and then we went to Bernie's Book Bank. And Bernie's Book Bank delivers millions of books to schools and kids in the Chicagoland area who don't have access to books.
NHS assists students by holding webinars to help them transition to college, and they also note that participating in service projects make your college application stand out according to various admissions officers.
After a successful season of 4 wins and 0 losses, on January 18th, the Westside and Bridge Students Special Olympics basketball team is state-bound with winning their last game of 39-40, qualifying them to state. We asked Coach Like how she plans on winning the state finals.
But I would say I plan on just having our practices, practicing on individual and both team bonding skills up until state.
The Bridge students practice at Westside or the Lighting Community Center once or twice a week in preparation for finals in March. Here is Dominic and Emmanuel giving us feedback on how they are feeling making it to finals.
How do you feel after qualifying for the state tournament?
Well, I'm just happy for that because we're going to the state championship at March 10, and I'm feeling excited. Our whole team is excited.
What has been your favorite part of the season?
Basically my favorite part of the season was basically the practice, because I get to hang out with my friends, do little games in there, and also the tournament was a lot of fun, because at the end of the tournament we were yelling victory out of the hall, and we remember that. It's been awesome. It's been fun. I had a lot of fun actually.
Practicing in sports can help boost self-confidence. It can also improve skills in relationship building and working as part of a team.
When was the last time the Bridge students went to state?
I believe they qualified the year before that. So the Bridge team is actually known in the past to have qualified and gone to state, and I believe they have even won state in the past. So I'm hoping to add, this year to that little banner that they have going for the past years that they've qualified and went down to state.
Illinois requires a SAT test in order for students to graduate. Leiden offers a prep program that starts February 2nd, led by Dr. Veltman, for students, mostly juniors, who want to prepare for the test in mid-April.
What is SAT prep?
So SAT prep is a 9-week program that's designed for our students to get better scores on their SAT exam, which takes place the second week in April.
How do students sign up?
So they register either with My School Bucks online, or they can go to the cashier at the bookstore.
After talking to Dr. Veltman, we wanted to see another teacher's perspective on the SAT prep.
How does this class help future seniors?
Well, the one thing I'll tell you, the best thing about SAT prep is that it really gives you exposure to what the rigor of the exam is like, what it entails, time management, and other test-taking strategies. In my personal opinion, it is a wonderful course. It really does help a lot. Everyone shows improvement on their test taking.
An average of students receive a total of 1,060 on the SAT, but taking the prep program boosts students' score by 130 to 300 points. Even though we got information from teachers running the program, we thought it would be nice to get a student's personal opinion on the class.
Hi, my name is Siklali. I'm a senior, and we're going to talk about SAT prep. What was the hardest part?
The hardest part of the SAT prep were the mock exams, where basically they give you a whole like practice SAT, and they give you like the timer and everything's like really timed out to feel like you're taking a real SAT. So that's the hardest part.
What is some advice you want to give to someone who is taking SAT prep?
SAT prep is gonna help you the amount of effort you put in. Let's just say you don't put any effort, the class is not gonna be for you. But if you study and you're motivated and you do each one of the problems, it's really gonna help you on the SAT.
Any last words?
No.
Your parents, your friends, your teachers, everyone who drives in this country pays for one thing: gas. With prices soaring due to a number of political and economical reasons, it seems even closer to home is being hit. In an ever-changing environment, Leiden students find themselves easing off the gas.
Let's just say it's just going garbage because it's going up by like a lot. Last time I saw it was like $3.50, $3.60. One of my friends have to like leave the county in order to get some cheap gas. Even that's getting expensive. It's getting ridiculous.
Literally yesterday I was going for gas and stuff right after my haircut, and I seen the prices were $3.75, and that's like a lot higher than I thought it was. I don't remember seeing it that high before. I get paid every 2 weeks and stuff, so I had to budget on what money is gonna go into gas, which is gonna go to what. So I had to at least save $50 at least each week.
I try to budget as much as I can, hopefully. It is always within budget, so that is not a concern really.
It's certainly a taste of the real world for students. Students are forced to juggle their responsibilities on top of high prices. But how is it exactly on the flip side?
And if y'all are looking at today's gas prices going, oh my God, y'all don't remember when it cracked 4? So it seems to me that every time gas prices crack a new dollar level, you know what I mean? Over 2, over 3, over 4. That's when people start to go crazy about it.
I mean, there have been times when it gets up to like 4. I think there was once, maybe I want to say 10 years ago, when it got up to like 4, 4.5. And then like we were like, maybe we need a carpool.
I think in this particular case, even though we haven't cracked the $4 level again, it's a lot of the pandemic pent up antsiness that we have that is actually driving this.
What are the best? Well, there isn't, right? Like there isn't a good solution to it. You either have to agree to pay the money, which means you might end up working more hours if you already work, or you have to forego driving, which means you got to walk or take the school bus or ask someone to drive you.
In economics, we say, suck it up. It's the way prices are now. They'll eventually get more to where you're used to.
Have it was kind of like we just how did they say, it's like you're just sitting duck, you're just waiting, you have no idea what to do.
Patrick Godoja is one of many winter sport athletes that have been put on pause this season due to change in guidelines. Updated earlier this month, CDC is shortening the recommended time for isolation for the public. People with COVID-19 should isolate for 5 days, and if they are asymptomatic or their symptoms are resolving, follow that by 5 days of wearing a mask when around others to minimize the risk of infecting people they encounter. So we did some investigation to see how Leiden has applied these rules to their student athletes.
So I think one of the big things is once athletes are able to return to school after a quarantine situation, there are ways for them to return to practice sooner than they would have been able to before. So after athletes are able to return to school, they may not be able to return to competition, but they're able to practice under some restrictions that allow them to come back a little sooner than they would have before.
One of Leiden's programs struggled to compete due to the new guidelines. Here's varsity head wrestling coach John Kading and his thoughts about the new guidelines.
Well, I think it's a little different for wrestling just because of our close contact and because of the physicalness and the nature of the sport that we're held to I don't want to say a different standard, but different protocols compared to other sports.
Varsity wrestler Patrick Godoja explains his mixed feelings during these times as the team had to miss a big, key tournament that as a senior left him in awe.
So, I mean, honestly, it's kind of heartbreaking, especially we actually couldn't go because we were on that 10-day pause from COVID during that tournament. And it's just it's boring because you don't have anything to do. You're stuck at home. You're not really allowed to do anything because also, I didn't even even if I wasn't directly exposed, we just weren't allowed to practice. So there was a whole lot of free time, which some people enjoy that, but I like having sports, staying in shape, and especially like you said, it's my senior year, so it's like I don't want to fall behind. I want to stay on top of it. So yeah, we were just told wait 10 days, can't really do anything about it, and we'll get back at it once we're allowed to, really.
Before we leave the house, we normally check for a jacket, wallet, keys, and over the last few months, we've had to add masks and a vaccination card to the list. Ms. Benoit, a teacher at West Leiden, educates us as consumers about financial decisions, current economic issues, and how they all contribute to the future of America.
So, do you believe that this mandate will become the new normal?
I think it's hard to say if anything is going to be a part of our new normal right now. A lot of talks are that with the COVID vaccine mandate, especially in Chicago, maybe when cases are down, that mandate will be lifted. So I think just like anything, we're in an unusual time and nothing is normal from our own normal and right now. So it's a little bit too early for us to decide, along with the mask issue as well.
Do you think businesses are having to cut workers' hours or change things up to help business?
So I think that the idea of cutting hours is not an issue that we're going to see, because we think of how many businesses are putting on their signs that we're looking for staff, or please be patient with us, we're short staffed, especially in the service industry. So I don't think cutting hours is a problem. I think the way that businesses are having to get creative during this pandemic is by creating sign-on bonuses for people wanting to work, kind of adding in higher wage. So I think if anything, they're dying for workers, not really needing to cut people's hours to work.
Approximately 70% of residents of Chicago are fully vaccinated with 2 vaccine doses, meaning that businesses are losing out on 30% of Chicago residents commissioned that aren't vaccinated. Angel Salgado and friends recently went out and dined in at a couple of restaurants around the Cook County area, where this new mandate is being enforced and required to dine at these establishments.
Did you personally have any problems with providing your vaccination card?
No, because I always have a picture of my vaccination card on me, so I always just show it to the server with my ID, if anything.
Any of your guests that went out with you?
Definitely, my dad made me take a picture of his vaccination card because he didn't know about having your vaccination card on you.
So do you think like older generations have a hard time understanding?
I definitely do, because some of my family members still struggle to see that like COVID is still here, or that the vaccine doesn't really make them immune to COVID.
Right.
With this new mandate being enforced, the COVID cases have partially gone down since being in effect, and that is a huge positive for society.